Hey everybody, it's Michelle from Goodness Gracious Gluten Free, and this is my friend Christine.
Hi.
And today we're going to be making my Instant Pot braised short ribs. This was her meal that she requested when I asked her to cook with me, so that's what we're going to be doing.
All right.
Are you excited?
Yeah. I'm excited to eat it.
Awesome. So I already put in my Instant Pot a little bit of oil, and I started browning the meat because I didn't want you to have to wait for me to go through all of it on Instagram. So I already started a little bit of that. So we're gonna finish off the last two pieces of the short ribs. And I got boneless this time because sometimes the bone on short ribs don't have a lot of meat on them, it's mostly fat. So I got the boneless ones.
All right.
Awesome. So in my bowl, I have a third of a cup of tapioca starch, about a quarter cup of paleo powder, salt and pepper, and I mix that all together. We're gonna dredge the meat in that, and then we're gonna brown it on all sides in the Instant Pot. And I have it on saute mode, and it is getting hot. You can see it steaming and the oil is starting to crackle, so we need to get something in it. So we're gonna dredge it in here, and then we'll brown it. Yep. The saute mode is one of my favorite modes for the Instant Pot.
Okay.
Because literally it's one dish, and everybody who knows me knows that I hate to do dishes. So one dish. It makes me super happy.
Yeah. Let's clean up.
And not to mention braised meat. Oh my gosh, it is like so amazing. It falls off the bone.
Smells good already.
Do you have an Instant Pot?
No. Crock pot. That's all we.
I think I'm going to convince you today that you're going to want to get an Instant Pot. Yeah.
Okay.
So now it's going to brown all in there. And do you have to flip it? Yep, we'll flip it on the sides so that it gets brown on all of the sides.
Does that include?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, so they'll just take a few minutes. I don't have this recipe posted yet on my blog, but it'll be up tomorrow. But here's the basic rundown of the recipe while we're waiting. So I have one package of short ribs that are boneless that I bought at Costco. I have the tapioca starch, paleo powder, and salt and pepper in here to dredge the meat in. A little bit of avocado oil in the Instant Pot to saute them in so they brown. And then you need a mirepoix, which you can cut up yourself, which is basically celery, onions, and carrots. But I was at Trader Joe's today, and ta-da! They have it all done and chopped for you.
My way or
So we are so using this today.
No chopping.
And then you need a little, absolutely, tomato paste, beef broth, red wine, and garlic. And that's it.
Yeah.
And if you have a lot of meat, you might need a little bit of water on top just so your meat gets covered. But I didn't need any when I made this earlier today. So
How many pieces can you fit in here at one time?
the whole package from Costco will fit to cook, but to brown it,
Yeah.
I can fit 30.
3. Okay.
Yeah. Because they're fairly big size pieces of meat. I'm standing on my tippy toes because I can't see.
Yeah.
Too short. Christine, what is one of your favorite things to make? Not an Instant Pot, just in general cooking, anything.
My family's so picky, so very simple stuff. We do chicken in the crock pot a lot with just chicken and salsa.
Yummy.
And then I'll add cheese to it, sour cream. My husband doesn't like cheese or sour cream, so.
We still like him.
He eats it plain. My boys like Mexican food, so a lot of burritos, enchiladas, that kind of stuff.
That's a great base, though. You can make it a
Yeah.
lot of different meals that is also chicken.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, they usually like to cut it up, put the cheese and put it in a tortilla, whereas I'll just eat it in a tortilla. So Chris will add rice to it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. That's one of our favorite meals, too. So,
Pretty simple at our house.
that's all right. Simple is the best.
Well, if I have
Takes
more
less time.
recipes we know how to make,
Well,
then
because I throw the meter. I'm flipping it from side to side to side to side, since there's technically four sides.
Yeah.
Because we want it
Thicker.
all to get brown.
Round. Okay.
And then we're going to take it out and we're going to start the veggies. So,
You do the veggies in here too?
everything.
Yeah.
Yep, except for
One
with
pot.
this, we're going to make mashed cauliflower. And I already have it pre-steamed. So, I don't know if you know this. Do you know the easiest way to break up a head of cauliflower?
I don't know that I've ever purchased cauliflower.
Okay. So when your head of cauliflower comes, you wash it. and you wrap it in a towel,
Okay.
and you smash it on your counter,
Oh.
and it breaks it away from the core.
Ah.
And
And
it-
you get little pieces like broccoli?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's kind of amazing because you get it Russian out by smashing it.
There you go. That would be fun.
I swear people must think I'm like a little bit aggressive because I'm like, I don't like to do dishes and I want to smash my cauliflower.
Smash my cauliflower.
And I do kickboxing, so you know,
There you go.
sometimes you just
You're working your arms and
yeah. Alright, we're gonna flip it to the last side and then we'll pull it out and we'll start the veggies. And if you didn't want to use red wine in this recipe, it gives it a nice depth and a lot of it cooks off because you're gonna reduce the wine when you add it. But if you didn't want to add it, you could just add double the beef broth and that would be totally yummy too. Alright, so I'm gonna move this out of the way. Leave room for the last two.
So you're gonna pull those out and just put them over here?
Yeah.
You've already done those.
Absolutely. I'll do that and I'll let you do the rest.
Okay.
Just because they're on this side. Alright, so we're going to add a little bit more oil to the pan. So we're gonna pour
Avocado oil.
a little bit more of that in there. And then we'll add in the veggies. It's almost empty, so you might as well
Okay.
just, there you go.
Okay. All of it? in
Woo.
there? That
Yep.
wasn't a whole lot. What,
No.
a couple tablespoons?
Yep, just a little bit. And then you can add this in here. And mirepoix is just a fancy word for celery, onions, and carrots. And here's the garlic.
Okay.
You can add that in there
I've
too.
heard all that before.
You can use my tongue to
Yes,
do it.
thank you.
I would have used my fingers, but you know, my mother-in-law was like, I need this food. Bloody Mary, but sometimes to me, your fingers are your best.
All
Cool.
right.
Alright, I'm gonna give it a stir.
Okay.
And while this is cooking down, we're gonna make the mashed cauliflower. So it's gonna take a couple of minutes. Actually, yeah, we can just leave it. I can just leave it now.
Okay. Just get it so it's kind of distributed evenly?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And then we'll just let it cook for a minute, and we'll start the mashed cauliflower. So I have
Okay.
it steamed, and I microwaved it for 6 minutes in the microwave. And I just covered it with foil. I don't have a fancy cauliflower steamer. If you have one, that's awesome. It would work lovely, but I don't. So just a little bit of water on the bottom and a whole head of cauliflower.
Okay.
And we're gonna come right into the blender.
Oh, okay.
So I have an amazing blender and I love to cook with it because it'll take care of everything in here. So to it we're gonna add about a quarter cup of butter because everything's better with butter,
Yeah.
as Pauline says.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna put it on the bottom so that it melts when I add the hot cauliflower to it. And then I'm gonna add about a quarter cup of coconut milk. You could add regular dairy milk, but I just didn't have any, so we're gonna use coconut milk. And then if you want to scoop the cauliflower out of there, just so it doesn't get the water from the bottom in it, that would be awesome. I'm gonna come back over here and give our veggies a stir while Christina's scooping. And I want to start to get some of the bits off the bottom. They'll release with the when I add the wine. But I want to try to start scraping them off because that's where a lot of the flavor lives, is in the bits that are on the bottom. And these are starting to soften, look really, really nice. So we're going to actually go ahead to the next step and we'll come back to the cauliflower in a minute. It's almost done. Perfect. I'm so excited for this meal. You have no idea. Well, I'm also excited because Christine's here, and I don't get to see her very often, but I'm super excited to hang out with her tonight. All right, so we're gonna squish about
Tomato paste.
a couple swirls of tomato paste into the pot.
Okay.
That's perfect.
All right.
Awesome. And then you can go ahead and add in the whole rest of the bottle of wine.
Oh,
You give it a stir first to
yeah.
get
The tomato paste.
tomato paste, just to give it another layer of flavor. And I chose the wine I would drink with. I know I've said before when I've cooked with alcohol that I always choose something that is lovely to drink because you don't want to drink or cook with something that's a cheap wine or not something you would enjoy because you will taste that in your food. All right, so now
Smells really good.
now we're gonna let this reduce. So we're gonna leave it on the saute mode, and we're gonna come back to the cauliflower. We'll just
You don't have to put a lid on there. It just
no,
stays
because I
sauteed.
want the wine to evaporate. So I
Oh,
want it
okay.
to almost like cook off a little bit alcohol, so it gets a little bit thicker. And then we'll put the meat back in, add the broth, shut the lid,
Then it
Voila.
sits. Okay.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna come back over here. And we're gonna add some pepper and some salt.
That's good.
Perfect.
Okay.
And this is enough pepper for you?
I'll do more.
Okay, whatever you like. However you regularly
However I
pepper.
would regularly pepper.
Pepper your pepper. All right, sorry, it's gonna be loud for a minute. We are going to put the lid on and just blend. And watch this. All that cauliflower is gonna be mashed.
Which button did we push? Just the plus. So, okay.
All right, so now it's pretty much blended. We're gonna grab the cheese over there and we're gonna add it in so it makes it super cheesy and melted in with the cauliflower since it's hot. You don't need to add a lot, but just like whatever you would.
But what is this Parmesan cheese?
It's Parmigiano, Romano, and Asiago.
Well, I love cheese, so
Add whatever you like.
I would add
Add as much as you like.
the whole container.
That would be
That
super
much,
cheesy.
Would you like some cauliflower with your cheese?
Perfect. And then we're gonna blend it again. Just for a second. And it's gonna melt. I would say because it's hot. Because the cauliflower is hot. Perfect. All right, it's done. If you want,
Yes.
you can scoop that into there.
Okay.
And then you can garnish it with more cheese and bacon, and I have a little bit of parsley chopped up and bacon, of course, because, well, I made bacon for breakfast this morning, so I had a little bit left over, and who doesn't like bacon on top of their mashed potatoes or mashed cauliflower? All right, so this is looking pretty good over here. I'm just gonna give it a stir, and it's starting to get really thick. I don't know if you want to see this.
I do, yes.
All right.
I'll finish that in just a second.
So it's starting to get really thick.
Can I stir it?
Yeah.
See? Oh, yeah.
So we're gonna add all of the meat back in.
Okay.
Are these push in? There you go. Perfect. And just get it down on in there.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, some of this will be sitting on top of the mixture, right?
Well, and of
This-
course some beef over, or
Oh,
beef, some beef,
So you're gonna put some beef over this?
some
meat?
beef over the beef, some beef broth over it so that it's all submerged.
Pepper,
And so
okay.
we'll all get all the delicious flavors of the wine and veggies and broth. And I was really surprised and really delighted by the amount of meat that it made. I've made this before with the bone-on wines, and there really wasn't a lot of meat. So that's
because
why
it's probably mostly
it's
bone.
mostly bone.
Yeah.
And it was mostly fat. And so it was delicious, but there wasn't a lot. All right, then you're gonna top this off with the beef broth.
Okay. Am I using the rest of what's in here, or
Yeah,
just
you
to
probably
kind of-
just about, just so it's covered.
okay?
That looks
Oh, there's
perfect.
Still a little bit in there, but
That's okay. I'll save it for later. All right, now we're gonna shut this off because we don't
Okay.
need it on saute mode anymore. We're going to put the lid on, and you want to make sure that your seal is clean and that this is clean because this is what would explode
oh,
on
it
your,
wasn't on right.
if it wasn't on right. You can hear it, and now it's locked.
Okay.
And so this is the pressure release valve, and you want to make sure that this part of it is always flowing freely.
Okay.
So when this is up, you don't ever open it, but you'll see
Oh,
it once we
okay.
start it. So now I'm going to turn it on to manual.
Okay.
And I'm going to turn it to 75 minutes. And it's a long time, but if you want the meat to be fall apart, like melt in your mouth buttery, 75 minutes is the best number to do it at, in my opinion. So that's it. Now
Alright.
we just wait. So it's going to
That's it.
pressurize.
Okay.
It's going to do its thing. That means it's going to
Oh,
start.
okay.
Yep, and then we're all done. So now I have a version that I made earlier today that I can show you.
Finish scooping these in here.
Perfect. I can show you the finished product. So this is what the braised meat looks like all done, and it is literally fall apart. Like each piece of meat is just falling apart. It's awesome. I hope you make this at home because it is so delicious. And then these are the cauliflowers that I mashed earlier, and I just garnished it with a little bit of bacon and parsley. I didn't add any cheese to this one because, like she said, her husband doesn't like cheese, and so he can have, this is all for you, Chris. This bowl right here is all Chris.
It's not natural not to like cheese.
I know.
In my opinion.
And so this is what your final product will end up like, and I hope that you enjoy it for your dinner. And thank you so much, Christine, for cooking with me today.
You're welcome.
Look how beautiful yours
Let's
looks.
eat.
I know.
I need a spoon.
All right. Have a great rest of your weekend, everybody, and I'll have this post up tomorrow so you can get the recipe from there.
Bye.
Bye.